Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's World Session. We are Thursday, the 20th in October 2020. So I'm going to take a moment to pause and let you get comfortable because that's something that's quite important when listening to sessions and doing this kind of work is that to make sure that you're in a place that you can sit back, relax, and sink into your chair to fully receive. So you can put this on pause. I'll give you a moment to go ahead and get nice and comfortable, nice and settled in. So really important not to be listening to these sessions while doing something. So while, I don't know, doing the dishes or driving or doing something, just lay down and receive. So I was thinking and feeling into what would we would work with today. And what kept coming up as a recurring theme is weight. So this doesn't necessarily mean physical weight, although it can. So it could be extra weight that your body is carrying, or maybe um, not enough weight, um, like you're having trouble to gain weight. Also, the weight of your thoughts, the weight of belief systems, the weight of finances or responsibilities, the weight of your life. And as I say that, it's the something's already moving, and then it's burdened by overthinking and analyzing, and the body can't seem to um, keep up with, or yeah, keep up with. That's really what it's feeling like. It can't keep up. It can't keep up with digesting all of this added weight. So overthinking, overanalyzing, whether you have, you know, heavy problems. No, I don't like that. I scratch that. I don't really like the way that that came out. But like the weight of the world sitting on your shoulders. So I'm tuning into this heaviness. You can feel for yourself where it feels in your body, whether it's actual weight, like it's physical weight. So you're holding too much weight, so fat. You can feel heavy in a certain body part, so heavy on the shoulders or heavy in the back, heavy in the legs, for example. Or perhaps you don't have enough weight, you're having trouble gaining weight. So we want to make sure that the body system is working properly to manage the excess weight. So whether that go to losing weight or gaining weight, also dumping belief systems, right? That heavy thinking, that over that resending of the same information, playing the same stories over and over and over in your head. So the first place we're going to is into two places at the same time, actually, simultaneously into the lymphatic system. That feels really sluggish, and also the gut, the digestion. So whether you're experiencing some sort of constipation or maybe loose stools. So constipation is holding on, not wanting to let things go, so to say. And constipation is the bottom falling out, so to speak, and not wanting to deal with anything. And you can have varying degrees between being constipated or having overly loose stools down to diarrhea. We want to make sure that the digestive system is working really well. So we've got a backed up a lymphatic system and a digestive system that's not for good. First, we're going to work with the constipation or work with having a hard time passing stools or not being regular, so to speak, right? So, right into that digestive tract. We're in a few places. We're in the duodenum of the small intestines. And there's some overthinking. There's that holding on within the small intestines. Now, as a natural consciousness, large intestines has to do with letting go. So it's interesting that it's sitting within the small intestines in that duodenum. It's having a hard time digesting and letting go, processing, synthesizing, and then discerning what's needed to be absorbed by the body and then moved along into the small intestinal tract. So we're going to do an optimization of the small intestines, but specifically to that duodenum, and then linking it back to the small intestine so that they're working together well. Whoa, there's a big release. There's a big energy burst right there. Oh, there's a yawn. Oh, and now my simultaneously, just that simple link can be so powerful. I can already feel my mind becoming clear. The thoughts are dissipating. So breathe this one in, just take a moment. And this is going into the duodenum is being impacted by a few things. So we're going into cholesterol. Cholesterol levels are impacting it. Also, we've got, there's some fatty tissue in there. So we're going to break down the fatty tissue within the duodenum, make sure it's nice and lean. There's healthy fat is needed, but that excess fat, Bill, we don't want fatty organs. So we're going to break down that fat. We're going to break it down with we're coming in with a hydration, but specifically hydrogen peroxide to break down those fatty molecules. And that lymphatic system, we got to optimize the lymphatic system. So we're going to break down the fat, but then it's like, oh, but I have nowhere, I have the excess fat within the duodenum. It's like, oh, but I have nowhere to go. So we're going to put that on pause and moving to the lymphatic system. It's going to work simultaneously as a parallel session, moving into that lymphatic system to make sure that the lymph is doing a good job dumping out the toxins. So you're not getting swelling, water retention. Well, that's a big one on water retention. Water retention is also coming in with emotional stuckness. So those emotions are not moving through the body, not moving through. Emotions are natural. They heal. They're healing. They know what to do. They just move around and they support. But we've got some emotional retention within the lymphatic system. So some low self-esteem, over-analyzing, overthinking, negative self-talk. I'm going to dump that out from the lymphatics. So we're going to do a hydration to the lymphatic system, optimization of the lymphatic system as well, to make sure that it's dumping properly. We're going to link that into the diet, that emotional release from that lymphatic system. We're going to link it to the spleen for optimization. Spleen and lymphatics work together. And then also linking it to the small intestines, the diaphragm, small intestines, to help those emotions synthesize, because that's what the diaphragm does. And we're going back to the duodenum. Now we can break down these excess fat molecules that are building up. They're bunging up the system. Within the duodenum, then into the small intestines. We're going to bring in that hydration, speed up the water just a little bit. So it's creating some hydrogen peroxide, cleaning out. So cleaning out the small intestines, the digestive tract, moving down through the large intestines. I'm seeing all this hydrogen peroxide, picking up any waste that got left behind. So whether that be old food that hasn't been excreted yet, whether that be old sessions or even sessions that or previous work that you've listened to that it hasn't synthesized through the gut. We want to optimize that gut so that it's discerning and it's not being weighed down. by this over analyzing, this weight. So whether that be responsibilities, work, family, relationships, uh, finances, physical weight, or the inability to gain weight. We'll work with both. We don't want the thinking about those things, the over analyzing of those things, to bung up the system. So we're gonna do. What are we doing? There's a consciousness here. Is it going into eighth chakra? Past lives? No, we're going into consciousness. So we're going into pathological consciousness of the small intestines. You want to balance that out. The natural consciousness of the small intestines to discern, and has gotten more feeling like, well, I've got to analyze myself. I've got to analyze my problems. I've got to analyze my body. I've got to analyze, overthink. And then the whole system gets congested. So we're going to dump that through a pathological consciousness of the small intestines. Going to anchor it. Ooh. To individuation. We're going to get that out of there. We're going to anchor it to the heart. And then bring back, restore the natural consciousness of the small intestines. Feels a nice place to tap, so you can take a nice deep breath and receive, or you can tap with me. Oh, now this is interesting. We're going back into the guts. We're going back into the gut, and we're doing a hydration of the whole digestive system. So, no, not the whole thing, specifically small intestines, large intestines, and stomach. So, sometimes when you're hungry, sometimes you feel hungry when you're thirsty. And so you go and you eat, and then you feel like you need more. It's because you're actually thirsty. There's a dehydration within the body, and it comes up as hunger sometimes. So you go and you eat, and you still feel that need. It hasn't been satiated. There's this insatiate. You haven't been satiated. So so you go and grab something else to eat, or you try something else, but it's actually thirst. There's an actual dehydration happening here. So we're going to do a hydration. If you got a glass of water, you can go ahead. A nice sip of water, or you put some water in your belly button. And I'm going to tap hydration on tap hydration to stomach, small intestines, and large intestines. And that'll also help loosen the stool, whoever's constipated. Also making sure that when the stool passes through the rectum and down the colon, that all of the hydration isn't leaving, that the rectal cavity, that the walls are actually reabsorbing the hydration, so that you're not excreting all of your hydration, that you're not losing all of your hydration. Okay. I'm going in and checking the duodenum. That looks good. The small intestine looks good. Going into large intestines, I can see the fecal particles. Oh, it's starting to break down. So you may have quite a bit of poop. You might have a couple of runs to the bathroom. If you may get diarrhea, and if it lasts for 3 days, 3 to 5 days after listening to the session, you know it's the session at work. Anything longer, then you know it's not the session that's not the session. Now we got to go into fat specifically. Going into the fat tissues, fat. Oof, and as I say that, just feel your body. When I say the word fat. Where do you feel it most for your body? For me, I feel it in my eyes and in the front of my head. Also a little bit in my throat. Ooh, so you can feel for yourself when I say the word fat, where it impacts you the most, where in your body you feel it the most. Ah, and there all comes in all of this comparing. Well, I used to look like this, but I don't anymore. My body used to be able to do this, and now I'm not able to. Feels like there's this holding yourself to a standard. Oh my God. Holding yourself to a standard. I've got this standard weight. I've got this standard amount of fat that I want to have. We have no idea what the body is doing. We have no idea. At any given time, we have no idea what the body is doing. Maybe the fat is actually supporting you. Maybe you need more. Maybe you need less. But the comparing to or holding yourself to a standard is keeping you stuck. It's cruel, actually. I'm going to come right out and say it is actually quite cruel. Holding yourself to a standard. Now, that's not saying, okay, well, letting everything go and um, just behaving whatever way that you want to behave. I guess you can, but there will be repercussions. You can't just walk into, a crowded room in a mall and, start acting crazy and running around hitting people. You'll be taken away. Someone may call the police, or you may be shunned. People will walk away from you. So there's a certain status quo, with socializing. It's strange that this is coming up, but this is holding yourself to a standard that is unchangeable, is unmutable, and expecting yourself to fulfill the standard always. Ugh, but you're not a computer, you're not a machine, and even then, machines sometimes need a break or break down. They can't always function the same way, always. Sometimes it needs to be tweaked. Ugh. So we got to dump this belief. It's fat impact for me. It's in my eyes and in my throat and in my head. So that means there's thinking. But all these beliefs are stored within the myelin sheath of your nervous system. So we got to run active memory through the myelin sheath of the nervous, through the back and the nervous system. So we're going back to young age. So 4, 5, 6, and then even going into preteen and then into adolescence. So here comes, you're just a kid, you're doing your own thing. Oh, and then you get people telling you, your family, either you have to lose weight or you have to gain weight, even as young children. Oh my. And then all the judgments come in. Oof. So we're going to run active memory. Oh, the fat. And the experiences, other people's self-talk, your own talking about yourself, and that holding yourself to a standard. Oof. All right. Running that through the myelin sheath. Active memory to experiences with fat. So whether that be someone saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you lost so much weight," or "What happened? You've gained weight," or "Oh, being shunned because you're either overweight or underweight, being excluded is coming up." And then also self-isolation is coming up because of your perceptions of yourself. Oof. Take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to link that to diaphragm, small intestines for synthesis and release. All right. That was quite the session. Thank you all for joining me. Go ahead and press subscribe so you don't miss anything, any sessions that come out. to stay up to date with me and the things that I'm doing, so classes and workshops or private sessions, you can go ahead and find me on my website if you want to contact me. So that's www.mmarzak.com. So Marzak is spelled Marzuk, mmarzak.com. You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. Go ahead and subscribe and follow me, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you all next week. Have a lovely day.